I'm Rick Russell. I'm the treasurer and vice president for finance at the Carolina Conference. I was the treasurer of the Carolina Conference, just like I am now. Was persuaded by my colleagues to participate with them in preaching an evangelistic series in Fayetteville, North Carolina. My very first time preaching a public evangelistic campaign, so I didn't know what I was doing. Fortunately, we had the Holy Spirit with us, but I was green.
My name is Zachary McFadden. My mom and I began attending a number of Adventist churches. In the Fayetteville church, they talked about an upcoming prophecy series.
Well, it was a little intimidating to stand up in front of a couple hundred people and preach the gospel and calling for decisions, making appeals and calling for decisions. I had never done that before. We got instant feedback from the pew when we spoke, but we didn't know how people were coming along in their thinking.
Toward the end of that series, as they were telling me about how much sense the Bible made, it made sense, it was practical, it was relevant, I fell in love with Jesus all over again.
My name is Marilyn Nader, and right now I am the director of evangelism at the church here in Shannon. When I went to that prophecy seminar, that's when everything started making sense. So then that's how I met Zachary after that seminar. And he's like, he offered to give me Bible study as long with his mom.
Unbeknownst to me, we had both been at that evangelistic series in 2004, the same evangelistic series, and never met. So while I was baptized there, that was a part of her journey, but she needed other pieces.
I was able to witness and see the love of God through Zachary and his mom, Kathy. They just embraced me with so much love. And so many years went by because that was back in 2006, and I got baptized in 2014.
Let's go forward almost 21 years to February 2025, here in Shannon, North Carolina. My assignment that day was to come and organize a Spanish-speaking group that had grown to the point where they could be organized as a church. Marilyn was at the microphone. Marilyn is the matriarch of this group, this church that's being planted.
Zachary, he used to pray for 3 things that he wanted the Lord to do in his life. And one of those 3 things, every day he prayed for that, is to have the chance to see Pastor Rosa one more time, to thank him for that message and the opportunity for him to get baptized. But he never had the chance to do it.
Until Zachary and Kathy came back and sat down at the table and they started telling me the story. And Zach said, "Do you remember that evangelistic series you did in Fayetteville back in 2004? And I said, "Oh yeah, I'll never forget that. It was my first one."
It was a struggle in my heart because I thought, well, Lord, do I share this with him? Because it's not about this. Maybe I can tell him privately. And God really just hammered that home. You need to share it. You need to share it.
He said, that really made an impression on me. And as a result, I became a baptized Seventh-day Adventist Christian. And I said, wow, I never knew that. 20 years later, I'm just finding this out for the first time.
I think he was choked up. It was kind of overwhelming because he had been a part along here, but now I was sharing with him about how he was actually beginning that piece.
And he said, and then I'm the one that gave studies to Marilyn. And the rest of the story is that a church was planted and grew and became 61 people. And I was floored.
And here we are, all of us together in one event for the first time planting a church. 20 years after, what is that?
It's all because of God, but then together we're seeing all these people that she has reached, and God be praised. It's just a blessing.
The Holy Spirit did his thing, and there were a lot of moving parts, and we didn't know how it was all coming together until the very end, praising God for what he has done.
The privilege to see what happened 20 years later and to be in the same event is amazing. Only the Lord can do that. So yes, it is amazing.